On 12th of June 2025 at 1:38 p.m, Air India Flight 71 took off from runway 23 of Ahmedabad International Airport. The plane had only reached an altitude of 625 feet when air traffic control received a distress mayday call. Moments later, the aircraft suddenly disappeared from radar. A few seconds after that, a loud explosion was heard in the city, followed by thick black clouds of smoke. By nightfall, the grim toll was clear. Of the 242 people on board the aircraft, 241 were killed. Men, women, and children on the flight and several people on the ground perished. At least 8 locals, including young medical students in the hostel, also died when the jet crashed into the medical hostel. The lone survivor was a 40-year-old British Indian man, identified as Viswash Kumar Ramesh. One major factor that worsened the destruction was the aircraft's fully loaded fuel tank. Since the flight was bound for London, a distance of over 6,700 kilometers, approximately 80,000 liters of jet fuel had been filled. When the aircraft collided with the hostel building, the fuel turned the entire structure into a fireball. A major mistake is emerging behind the Ahmedabad plane crash. In the footage, 3 unusual things are visible. The plane's wings are retracted, the wheels are still out, and the nose is facing upward, as if the plane is trying to both take off and land at the same time. Usually, during takeoff, wings extend via slats and flaps at a 10 to 15 degree angle to generate lift, while the nose tilts up and wheels retract. But in this case, the wings remained flat and the landing gear didn't retract, creating massive drag and reducing lift. Even if the wings were tilted slightly, say 5 degrees, many experts and pilots analyzing the footage say they seem to be in a clean configuration, meaning flaps were retracted.
And every pilot I've spoken to says this looks like a clean configuration, which means the flaps that you see in that first picture are actually retracted here.
In such a scenario, even with both engines functioning, the lift would be significantly compromised, especially in 40 degrees Celsius heat, where air density is lower. In this temperature, a 20 to 25 degree wing angle is often ideal for proper lift. Yes, the Boeing 787 has extremely powerful engines, and theoretically, it can take off with retracted flaps and wheels down, but that would require a very long runway and extra speed. In this case, the plane did use the full 3.5 kilometer runway, yet failed to gain enough lift. Now, other factors like aircraft weight, engine performance, or partial engine failure due to bird strike could also have worsened the situation. But the key question remains: why was the takeoff configuration so unnatural? Was it due to technical failure or a pilot error? Globally, 65% of plane crashes are due to pilot error, and this case resembles 2 historic crashes. A McDonnell Douglas MD 82 took off with flat wings due to a missed checklist step and a disabled alarm system, crashing 300 meters from the runway and killing 154 people. The wings were not extended, and the plane never reached the required 380 kilometers per hour speed. A DC-982 took off in 31 degrees Celsius heat with flat wings and heavy load from a short runway. It lifted to only 50 meters and crashed 800 meters out. Cause? Again, pilot error and a failed alarm system. The Ahmedabad crash matches these, except the Boeing 787 Dreamliner should have had a strong alarm system preventing such mistakes, but technical glitches or poor maintenance could have disabled it. Also, while the Northwest and Spanair planes barely stayed in the air for 20 seconds, Air India 171 lifted to 625 feet, flew for 30 seconds, and crashed 2.5 kilometers away, suggesting it had slightly better thrust or lift. Possible causes include a missed flap deployment, alarm failure, partial engine malfunction, overloading, or heat-related drag, or perhaps a tragic combination of all. Only further official investigation will confirm the exact cause, but initial analysis points to a combination of human error and technical oversight, similar to past fatal crashes. The most critical piece of evidence now is the black box. This will reveal the flap's position, engine status, and the cockpit conversation between the pilots before the crash. Meanwhile, the families of the victims are submitting DNA samples to help identify their loved ones. In the wake of the disaster, National leaders and the airline vowed support. Prime Minister Modi visited the crash site and described the scene as heart-wrenching and offered government aid. If you found this video informative, do give it a like and share it with others. For more such detailed stories and investigations, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.